incredible human beings. We are live. I've had the pleasure of coaching a lot of really, really high level dudes. I've just had the pleasure of coaching a lot of guys in general. And with that, I've noticed a couple of really key big differences between guys who are extremely successful and guys who are not extremely successful. There's a really big difference between guys who have what we call hockey stick growth, where they just keep getting better and better and better and better, and guys who flatline or go backwards or go down. And there's a few really key differences between those guys, and I'm going to go through one of them with you today. And I'll tell you a story about it. So I was running something called a game plan call. A game plan call is where we jump on the phone with someone who wants to make a change. They just don't know exactly what they want to do. Maybe they're not happy with the money they're earning, the relationships they're having, the way that they look, the way that they feel, their energy, all that sort of stuff. And so what we do is we go from where they are right now, and we look at all the problems that are going on in their life, everything they're unhappy with. We find the root of those problems. And then after that, we find out exactly where they want to be, like how they want to be as a man, how they like the income they want to earn, the job they want to have, the energy they want to have, the way they want to feel, the relationship with their partners, their kids, all that sort of stuff. And then we map out like the gap in between, and that forms the game plan, right? Because you're here, you want to be here. What do we need to do to get you from here to here as quickly as possible? And so I was running like a game plan call with one of these guys, with two of these guys, right? And both at different stages. And one of them I was talking with, and he was unhappy with loads and loads of stuff, right? And he was trying everything to get better. He wasn't happy with the way that his digestion was. He was always bloated. He was always lethargic. He just wasn't feeling terribly good. He wasn't happy with the way that work was going. It was pretty tough for him. He was in a pretty tough environment. He lost a big contract, didn't pay him. So it was really difficult for him. He was stressed. He was anxious. He was working 100 hours a week. It was really, really difficult for him. But he was doing everything that he could. Then there was another guy who was doing quite well in everything. He was making a lot of money. He was doing, as a real estate agent, making a lot of money. He was selling a shitload of homes. He had a great life, loving family, loving kids, loving wife. But he just hit the nose beers way too hard. And for those of you who don't know what nose beers are, they're a little bit of the Colombian powder, right? I've got a theory about the Colombians that they want to keep everybody awake because all they do is export cocaine and coffee, right? And so he was addicted to some of Colombia's finest, and he was on it every single week. And it was causing all these issues because when he was smashing the coke every single week, it'd be like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like big day, big day, big day. He wasn't like a big partier. He's more the type of guy to like sit at home, crush a few, have a few lines with the boys and just sit out and just get fucked up till like 5 a.m. Like that's what he did. And so what he did is he just sat on that decision all the time. Like he never actually changed. All he had to do was give up the coke, but it was impacting his relationship with his wife because he was just a dick. Like guys, when they do a little bit of cocaine, don't know if you've been around it before, if you've done it before, but like when they do cocaine, like you get a little bit angry, a little bit antsy afterwards. You have highs and lows, ups and downs, all those sorts of things. He was not able to perform. Like after his weekend bender, he would be like shit at work for the next however many days. So he was still making good money, but not as good as what it could be. And his health was just fucked. Like he just wasn't in a good way. He didn't look terribly unhealthy, but on the inside, he just felt like trash 24/7, 365. And there was a really key difference for me between these guys, which just stood out like dog's balls. It was crazy. Because on the one hand, we've got a guy whose life was not going terribly well. He just kept getting smashed and smashed and smashed. Stress, digestive issues, people not paying him, all that sort of stuff. There's this other guy who's got loads of money, amazing kids, amazing wife, amazing opportunities. And he had one thing which was holding him back and he just wouldn't stop it. And so we pretty much came down to it with both these guys. And I asked the first guy on his call, I asked him, I was like, so dude, what do you try? What have you done? He was just throwing the kitchen sink at it. He's like, dude, just show me how to fix this fucking thing. Like, that's all I want to do. I just want to get it fixed. I just want to be better. I just want to be on top of it because I just want to go back to crushing life. And then the next guy, we compare him. And I asked him, I'm like, what do you want to do? He's like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, well, is it impacting you that much? Like, is it having a bit of an effect on your life? Yeah, it is. Like, yeah, I guess you could say it's affecting me. Well, how's it affecting you? Well, it's affecting my relationship with my wife. It's affecting relationship with my kids. When I'm there with them, I'm not really there. It's affecting my work. I'm losing all these sales. It's affecting my health. I'm feeling way older than what I should be. I'm like, okay, cool. Are you willing to do anything about it? Yeah, I don't know. I think I'll just have to sit on it. I'll just have to think on it. I was like, bro, what the fuck? And we look at these two guys. And so fast forwards now, one has a business that is doing about $50 million a year. And then the other one is broke, divorced, and literally has lost every single thing that he had. He lost his work because he couldn't maintain it. He lost his relationships because he couldn't maintain it. He lost his health because he couldn't maintain it. Guess which one was which, right? It's pretty obvious. The dude who was doing anything to fix his health went on to create a fucking massive business and is absolutely crushing it. And he'll be a billionaire one day. And it won't take him that long either. And then the other guy is doing absolutely nothing. The dude who had it all, the guy who was making good money, who was doing really well, who had the family, who had absolutely everything, completely fucked it, lost the whole lot. And this guy who lost everything, he didn't lose it overnight. It wasn't like one day it just, packed up and left him. He was losing it every single day that he put off this decision, right? Every single day. And so when I see a lot of guys, and this is so common, right? The difference between successful people and people who are not successful is successful people do not put decisions off. Simple as that. Successful people, and when I'm talking about successful, this is what I define as successful. You're making the money you want, you're working the job you want, you've got the relationship you want with your partner, with your kids, and you have the health you want. That is successful. If you are missing any of these, you are not successful, my friend, and I'm sorry to say that. But if in any area of your life you are settling for something where you are not happy, you are not successful at all, one little bit. Because successful people are uncommon, and uncommon people do not settle, ever. The most common thing that I'll see with guys is that we'll be talking about something like, take the cocaine habit, for example, and they'll say, oh, it doesn't matter that much. It's not that bad. And what we mean when we say it's not that bad, it means I'm unhappy with this, but I'm unwilling to do something about it because I feel the work will cause me more pain than doing something about it. Whenever we say it's not that bad, we are fucking lying to ourselves straight away. Go look in the mirror and try and say that your life is not that bad for every single problem that you have. Seriously, go try and do it. Go talk about your coke habit. My coke habit is not that bad, right? My job that I hate is not that bad. Not making the money that I want to make is not that bad. My relationship, which is on the rocks because I'm not turning up as the man or the husband that I need to be, is not that bad. I don't get to spend the quality time with my kids that I like to. It's not that bad. Try going saying that in the mirror and look back at yourself and see what you see, right? Do you see a liar? Do you see someone telling the truth? Every single time it's a liar, invariably, right? I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm also trying to give you something which I've observed from thousands of guys over and over and over and over again. Whenever we say it doesn't matter, it's not that bad, it's a fucking lie. The second thing after this, we say is, oh, I got time, right? I got time. I got ages. One of the biggest, saddest things I ever see is when we put things off because we have time. Whenever we throw away time like we've got shitloads of it to spend. Here's the thing. Every single second that we spend of every single day, we are one step closer to death. Now, I know that sounds incredibly morbid, but it's true. That second you've just spent, you've never got it back. But that dollar you spend, yeah, you'll get that thing back, right? We value time so lowly, but we value money so highly. It's stupid. I don't know a single successful person who would gladly spend time instead of money. Every single person I know who crushes it always will spend their money to get their time back because it's the only thing that you can get back. I mean, the only reason billionaires can become billionaires is by leveraging their time, by getting people to do work and to have jobs within organizations which create exponential levels of money. The only reason why athletes can get good at sport, I'm a big jiu-jitsu fan. There's a bloke called Gordon Ryan who's trained by this champion coach called John Danaher. The only reason Gordon Ryan is great, yes, he's a phenomenal athlete, but John Danaher, that dude makes him exceptionally better. The only reason any athlete is good is because they use coaches to make them better, to learn more. It's the whole thing. And we see so many people saying, oh, I've got time. Don't worry about it. It's just a coke habit. I'll only be doing this for the next 3-4 years. This 3-4 years you'll never, ever get back. Ever. Right? Whenever we say, oh, I've got time, you fucking don't. Here's another thing. Most of us think we're going to live for 100 years, right? So we think that 50 is middle age. Bullshit. That's a blatant lie. Most people, the average life expectancy here in Australia is about 75 for men. Around 75. That sort of number. Okay? So that means 37 is halfway through your life. Now, hands up right now if you're older than 37. If you're older than 37, congratulations, you already spent 50% of your life. What are you going to do with the rest of it? Here's another thing too. Let's take out this meter-long ruler. Yeah, okay? Meter-long ruler, this long. That means right now you're 37, you're halfway through it. You're 50 centimeters gone, okay? Now, let's also do something else because we've already spent 50% of our time. How's our health? Well, if our health isn't good and we're overweight, if we're doing things that we shouldn't, we're putting in stimulants into our body, if we're not living, not sleeping, we're anxious, we're stressed, all these factors which we know impact lifespan, let's creep this one in a little bit. Because all of a sudden your lifespan goes from 75 down to 65. And all of a sudden this ruler is looking very, very small. This is the thing, you don't have time. No one has time. Because time is getting away from us every single day. And every single second that we spend fucking around, wasting our time, is a second that we're never ever gonna get back. I talk to too many guys, too often, who say, I wish I did this. I wish I didn't waste all those years. I wish I lived my life differently. Can you imagine being on your deathbed? I want you to picture this. Close your eyes, all right? I want everyone on here to close their eyes right now. I want you to picture this. Take a big deep breath in through your nose. Out through your nose. And what I want you to do, I want you to imagine right now that you're on your deathbed. You're in hospital. Just keep breathing in through your nose, out through your nose. You're on your bed, in hospital, on your deathbed. And you smell funny. You got all those machines that are beeping around you. You got tubes up your nose, down your throat, up your ass, down your cock. They're there everywhere. Your skin is paper thin and it's sticking to the bed sheets. And around you is every single person that has ever mattered to you. I want you to look at each of them in the eyes. And as you look at each of those guys, each of those people, think about what impact have you left on them right before you draw your final breath. What impact have you had on each of these people and how are they going to remember you? And the next thing I want you to think of is there anything that you would have done differently? Right before you draw your last breath, is there anything that you would have done different? Would you have spent more time with one of them? Would you have taken that holiday? Would you have not got angry that time? Would you have had more energy so that you could run around the park, play with your kids? Would you have fixed your back so that you could actually hang out with your grandkids? Would you have kicked that drug habit so that you could actually hang out with them sober and enjoy how incredibly awesome it is to be around these people? Think on that. Now, if you come back, open up your eyes again. I want you to think on that. If you're on your deathbed, what would you do different? Because it's going to happen like this. My old man had thyroid cancer, right? Love him to bits, and he had thyroid cancer. And it really put things in perspective for me. It really did. Because I was like, fuck, my dad will not be around forever. I have to make much more of an effort to go and hang out with him and have this time. Here's the thing, I'm not going to be around forever either. So I now make sure that I'm always living my life the way that I want to, in the best manner possible, with the people who are most important to me, doing what I want to fucking do. And if there's one thing that I can do before I die, is that help a few of you guys go to your deathbed, which you will go to. You will be there in the hospital sheets, sticky, smelly, old, tubes everywhere. You will get there, but I want to at least help a few of you go there without any regrets. Because I tell you what, when I'm out, I'm like, fuck yeah, I nailed this life thing, on to the next level. Let's do it. And I want you to be there with me. Do it without any regrets whatsoever. Here's the reality. We don't have fucking time. Time's getting away from us every single day. The idea that, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll just live with this thing that I'm not happy with, that's a fucking lie. It's bullshit. You're lying to yourself, and you're lying to everyone around you that cares about you. You don't have time. You're lying to yourself. You're lying to everyone who cares about you. Let's not do it. I did it for many years. Many of us have done this over and over because we don't want to complain. Well, here's the thing. It's not about complaining. It's about living up to your highest level. I got a firm belief, and it's a really weird one that not many people like, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's a little bit controversial. I think every single human being that is born is fucking incredible. Like, absolutely incredible. I think that we're born perfect just the way that we are. It's just some of us choose not to see the perfection that we have and to see what we can actually be. Okay? Does that make sense, by the way? And I'm more than happy to chat with any of you guys on this, right? If you're watching this on a replay, you'll probably notice that there's like a little, button down there. You can click in there, and if you want to get help with this stuff and you don't want to keep putting off tough decisions anymore, if you don't want to stay stagnant, if you don't want to say, oh, it's okay, I'll just put up with my coke habit, or not making enough money, or having a job that I fucking hate, or being in relationships that I hate, or not being the man that I want to be for my kids, if you're over that and you don't want to live that life anymore, click the button below and fill out the application form, and you're more than welcome to book in a game plan call with us. So I talked about the game plan call at the start. The game plan call is where we find out exactly where you are right now and exactly where you want to be. We find out every single thing right now that you are not happy with within your life. We find out exactly every single thing that you need in life in order for you to be extremely happy, so that when you're old, wrinkly, smelly, on your deathbed about to die, you can tap out and say, I fucking nailed this life thing, and have that awesome moment where you die happily, not like most men who die with regret. And then what we do is we find the gap in between, and we build a game plan around that to make it so that we can make you absolutely dominate. So if you want to learn more about that, or you want to book in for a game plan call, feel free, just click the link below. You'll see it pop up. Click the link below, and I'll be more than happy to help you out and answer any questions that you have. So just click the link below, pop in your information, and then slot in a time on the next page that it takes you there, and we'll crack on from there. Any questions at all, feel free, reach out. I'm always here to help you. And one thing I just want to leave you on, three things really. Number one, you're fucking awesome, right? You're more than capable, and I know this because I've coached so many dudes now. You are far more capable of doing whatever you want than what you think you are. And having that life that you really want, that dream life, is exactly this far away. You're just gonna make a couple of shifts. Number two, you don't have time. It's getting away from you every day. Don't be the real estate agent who went from crushing it to being a coke addict who's broke with no family 4 years later. Be the dude who went from being broke to making $40 million a year 4 years later. And then the third thing is, it does matter. Every little problem that you have, you can solve it. You are more than capable of solving it, much more capable than what you know. Sometimes you just need a little hand and a little perspective. Book in for the game plan call if you need a hand at all. I'm going to leave you all to this. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much for your time, guys.